This week, I had the honor of receiving feedback from friends from different parts of the world to find out how this coronavirus has impacted them. Listen, some of my friends, they are not native English speakers, so I have one request through this video, that you please be patient with hearing what they're communicating from their heart as they speak to us. This virus has impacted persons of all languages, all cultures, all peoples, all nations. And this is what led me to ask the first question. What has been the most difficult part for you through this pandemic? Let's hear what he had to say.
We have planned for the entire year. All our plans are just thrown away, and we really don't know when we can get back to whatever we have planned for. And by plans, I mean like travel plans, conference plans, even wedding plans. All these have been put to a standstill.
So the hardest thing for me for this COVID-19 is the loss of job. The tourism industry has been very impacted by the quarantine.
The most difficult part has been being locked down at home. Here in Spain, you only can go out if it's to go to the supermarket, go to the pharmacy, or go to the hospital and things like that.
So apart from fear and confusion, the most difficult part for me is tackling with uncertainty, since this is an unprecedented situation.
Missing playing sports like soccer, roller skating, also going out with friends.
The most difficult phase during this pandemic of COVID-19 was that of the suspension of any activity, including schools, churches, administration.
The most difficult has been the adaptation to the new routine and way of carrying out daily activities such as work and study.
The feeling I cannot be out there serving others as I used to.
I am sure that many of us could relate to the challenges that they identified. Losing jobs, adjusting to the new norms, delayed goals, and even losing loved ones. These are many challenges that we all are going through, and we need to go through this together. My motive behind this channel is to simplify the law as it applies to everyday life. And during this pandemic, governments around the world, they have introduced laws and regulations to maintain order, to provide some guidance and shape the new normal, as well as to find solutions to problems. And this is what led me to my second inquiry. What are some of the laws and regulations introduced in your country through this pandemic?
During the pandemic, government forced every people to stay at home and to wear the mask when going out. And social isolation is mean that not gathering more than 2 people.
And the time period. The time period for business centers to open and close, and the time period for movement in the nation is from 6 a.m. in the morning to 9 a.m., 9 p.m. in the evening. That has been a major.
The government is regulating exactly who comes into the island and when they can come, which isn't a normal circumstance. Also, communities have been shut down. Whole communities have been shut down for 2 weeks at a time when a cluster of cases, COVID cases are found. Persons are not allowed free movement. You're not allowed to gather in large numbers, and that gathering restriction has been extended to the whole island.
Ever since mid-March, we've had a series of executive orders being approved. It was an early action because we had very few cases when that started. So it was a total lockdown. Only essential workers could go out. Everything else was closed. But we still had like a lot of cases being reported every day. So it has kept on for a few months, but it's a little bit less restricted now. More people are being able to open their small businesses as long as they follow the security measures of the health, like wearing masks or having hand sanitizer at their local establishments. But the general order is still in place and nobody can go out after 7 p.m. and the recommendation is to stay at home unless you have something important or some kind of
currently in Malaysia, what we have is called the Movement Control Order, or MCO for short, which we are currently in the 4th phase of, with each phase lasting for 2 weeks. So some of the things that were introduced by this Movement Control Order is the provision of allowed or banned activities, the banning of mass gatherings, making it compulsory for Malaysians returning from abroad to undergo health checkup as well as health quarantine, as well as banning of tourists and foreign visitors, just to name a few.
Is that if you are caught without a mask, or you are caught flouting the social distancing regulations, you can be fined minimally $300, and without any warning. If it's the first time, you are immediately fined. That's because previously when they tried implementing written fines, like that wasn't deterring anybody at all. So they kind of like up the stakes. And if let's say you are on you are a foreign somebody from overseas and you are on a working permit, if you are caught flouting these social distancing, or you have made a false declaration, your work permit is immediately revoked and you're deported, and you would lose your job.
Some of the laws passed as a result of this pandemic are mainly laws and measures related to preventing the further spread of the virus. The law of the obligation to ensure measures to protect the population from infectious diseases, lockdown, issuing passes to move from one place or country to another, closing schools, wearing masks, etc., etc. Or laws that affect the financial stability of citizens. For example, interest-free deferral of payment and installment payment of tax funds in order to maintain the liquidity of the company. There are, of course, health laws and precautions, as well as labor law that allows employers more flexibility in terms of wage cuts or even layoffs.
New laws under the Public Health Act, which basically require mandated social distancing, as well as a national curfew between the hours of 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Let us be mindful that some of the measures mentioned, they may or they may not work within our context. And as I've mentioned in other videos, the reason for us discussing the laws in other countries would be for us to have a deeper understanding and appreciation as to what's transpiring in different political, legal and economic systems. Now, I am very hopeful that we as a world, we will overcome this pandemic. And this is what led me to ask the other question. What do you think as a world we can do to overcome this pandemic? Let's hear what he had to say.
So for me, just pray. Pray and believe. Pray and believe.
Sharing with the people not only money, but also psychological and spiritual support and hope.
We can assist each other in getting through this current crisis by staying inside, reporting symptoms if we have any.
A united diligence and active willingness to fight for a better tomorrow and to triumph against this virus.
I think we should stay at home in this time because doctors are working on coronavirus vaccine. We keep the habit to wash our hands if you can.
So first we should understand the harshness of this reality, and of course the World Health Organization has called all the governments to adopt a whole of government, a whole of society mechanism. So we all have to contribute to this. We all have to make adjustments. It might be uncomfortable for us, but we have to stick with it if it would be the last resort. So we might be expected to make small sacrifices. So because this is not something that can be done overnight, so it's going to take a very long time. So we need that patience to gradually get there, where we can actually say we have have overcome it, and we have put an end to this situation. And of course, special attention should be given to those people who are the most vulnerable in this situation.
To get through this crisis, we need to be aware that some people in risk, like people that had some illness before coronavirus, or old people. So we need to be aware that we need to take care of those people. All of us can take care of those people by staying home when the government tell us to stay home, or to give distance to people on the street, or to wash our hands every single time we can. So all these things help us all to get through this crisis. So let's do it, because that's the only way we can, all of us, get through this.
I would say that it is important to follow the regulations that are being put in forth in the different places, like this self-distancing or health regulations that are being constantly updated. I also think it's important that, because it's different for everybody in every country, depending on their circumstances, it affects us differently, that we develop a sense of solidarity towards others who are maybe struggling more than we are, and understand that this is something that is beyond our control and beyond what we want right now, and it's something that it's happening around all the world, and try to be empathetic to the situation of those around us in our countries and around the whole world.
I believe that together as a world we can go through all of this if we show a high rate of understanding, flexibility, sense for others, rather than selfish individualism. I believe that this is also one of those occasions where the world faces a common challenge or crisis, and it's an opportunity for people to put their heads together, unite, and not just looking at their own interest, they work for the benefit of society, for the benefit of the smallest. Which is not easy, of course, because people need to save their jobs, their companies, and take care of the people they are responsible for. But globally, together we have a much greater responsibility.
Now, I am fully convinced that we are a people who are resilient, wise, and progressive. And because of that, we will get through this pandemic. So let us do our parts individually and collectively as a nation. Let us do what we can to make this world a better place. I am convinced that we will work together and we will overcome this pandemic. Now, I want to thank all of my friends who contributed to this video, and thanks to you as well for staying until the end. If you found it to be insightful and you learned something new, please just leave a thumbs up as well as subscribe so that you see my other videos as I post them on a weekly basis. You be good for now, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video.